If you've been struggling to find your writing voice or are wondering whether you even have one, then this video is for you. We'll explore what our author voice really is, why it matters so much in children's books, and how to start uncovering your own unique style so that your stories sound like you and no one else. Hi there, I'm Eevi, an award-winning children's author and ghostwriter over on eevijones.com and the creator of Children's Book University. I create videos specifically for children's authors, so if that's you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. Today's topic is one I absolutely love talking about because it sits at the very heart of writing books that connect with our little readers. We're going to talk about our author voice, what it is, why it matters, how to develop a voice that feels deeply you, and perhaps most importantly, how to avoid the 3 most common traps that can actually mute our author voice. And if writing a children's book has been on your heart, stay with me until the end because I have something brand new to share that will give you the support you've been asking for. So let's jump right in. What is an author voice and how is it different from our narrative voice? Our author voice is very much like our personal writing fingerprint. It's the unique tone, rhythm, pacing, and personality that naturally shows up in our work, no matter what story we are telling. It's our creative DNA and it tends to stay fairly consistent across everything we write. If you receive my weekly Sunday emails, then you're probably already familiar with my personal author voice. The tone, rhythm, and word choices I use there are very much the same as the voice you're hearing right now in this video, even though one is written and one is spoken. Our narrative voice, on the other hand, is the specific voice used within a particular story. It can change depending on our story's narrator, our story's point of view, or the emotional tone of the book. Our chosen narrative voice is flexible, but our author voice is the through line that connects everything we write. So to illustrate that, let's look at 2 beloved children's books. Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus by Mo Willems is loud, dramatic, and full of character attitude. Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown, on the other hand, is soft, rhythmic, and soothing. These are wonderful examples of the narrative voice. The tone and pacing are completely different, even though they are written for the same age group. Each book is told in a way that perfectly matches the story's message and mood. But even though the narrative voice changes, the author's deeper voice, their unique style, still shines through across these authors' other books. Mo Willems tends to bring humor, strong character voices, and conversational dialogue. Margaret Wise Brown often leans into quiet rhythms and poetic structure. So as we write, we will want to remember that while our narrative voice may shift from story to story depending on what the book needs, our author voice, that deep creative fingerprint, will carry and shine through it all. And that's what we are exploring in this video. How to uncover and strengthen your very own author voice, that deeper, consistent style that makes your storytelling yours. Now, why does our author voice matter? To me, it's our author voice that breathes life into our writing. It's what makes our story feel alive, authentic, and emotionally resonant. In children's books, voice is everything. It's the difference between a story that feels flat and one that jumps off the page. Our little readers can feel that voice, even if they don't know how to name it. And children in particular are beautifully sensitive to tone. They can tell when a story is playful or sincere, warm or cold, silly or soothing. And of course, we have our grown-ups, the parents, teachers, librarians, and other caregivers who are reading our books out loud again and again. Voice is often the reason they fall in love with a book too. Especially in the publishing world, we often hear editors and agents say they are looking for a fresh voice. And they don't mean complicated language or clever tricks here. Instead, they're looking for that spark of you on the page, something that's real and recognizable. So, how do you develop your voice? Let's walk through a few ways to discover and develop our own unique author voice. The number 1 way to uncover our own author voice is to start with what we love. Our voice often starts in the stories we are drawn to. Here, it's really helpful to look at the kinds of children's books we ourselves love. Think about why you love them. What do they have in common? Is it the humor, the language, the mood or tone? Those patterns are clues. They point to the kind of voice we naturally enjoy, and often the kind of voice we will most enjoy writing in. A few years ago, well before I started making YouTube videos, I started my concept of creating what I called a library of inspiration in the form of a blog post with you. In that blog post, I encouraged fellow aspiring children's authors to start building their own library of inspiration with all their favorite children's books. Because one of the best ways to grow as children's authors is to expose ourselves to lots and lots of children's books and children's authors so that we can learn from them. So curating our own number of handpicked children's book examples will help us develop our own author voice or writing style. And so over the years, my personal children's book library has been growing and growing, mainly through visits to second-hand stores, school library giveaways, and little library visits. This is such a powerful concept that I truly believe every aspiring as well as already established children's author would benefit from implementing. So if you're interested in that blog post and would like to see a few of those books that are part of my own library of inspiration, I went ahead and shared the link to that in the description below. The number 2 way to uncover our own author voice is to pay attention to how we speak. Voice doesn't only show up on the page, it shows up in how we talk, how we tell our stories, and how we express ourselves. Are you naturally expressive and animated? Do you use big words or small ones? Do you love metaphors? Do you speak in short bursts or long, winding sentences? So here a great way to uncover our voice is to simply record ourselves, telling a story out loud, just as we would to a child, and then transcribe it. Look at your phrasing, your pacing, your rhythm. That's how you will begin to see what makes your storytelling feel like you. The number 3 way to uncover our own author voice is to write often and to write small. Here it's important to remember that our voice doesn't arrive fully formed. Instead, it reveals itself the more we write. And so one of the best ways to strengthen our author voice is to write short and write often. This doesn't have to take a lot of time, only consistency. Here we could simply try to write tiny scenes, short snippets, or even just 2 to 3 sentence mini stories. We wouldn't even need to polish them. This is just playtime, our voice discovery. And to take it to the next level, we could try to write the same short story in 3 different tones: sweet, silly, and serious, for example, because this will help us uncover which of these styles feels most natural and which one feels forced. That right there is voice awareness in motion. The number 4 way to uncover our own author voice is to embrace our quirks. One of the fastest ways to dull our voice is to sand down everything that makes us interesting. If you love clever dialogue, lean in. If you love poetic rhythms, use it. If you tend to repeat phrases for emphasis, let that be part of your signature. The things you're tempted to edit out might be the very things that make your voice shine. Think about John Klassen's dry, subtle humor, or Sandra Boynton's wild musical chaos, or Oliver Jeffers' poetic whimsy. Their quirks aren't accidents, they're voice choices. The number 5 way to uncover our own author voice is not to over-edit our voice away. Something that happens a lot to newer writers is that once they have written something in their true voice, they then second-guess themselves. And so then they try to make it sound more polished or more correct. And in the process, their voice disappears. Yes, we do want to revise, and yes, we do want to refine, but we don't want to let the editing process scrub away our personality. Our voice lives in that beautiful in-between space where the writing isn't perfect, but feels alive. And that's why it's so important to me that when I support fellow children's authors during my one-on-one feedback sessions, to yes, guide them, but to always keep their own personal voice intact. So these are my 5 favorite ways to help us develop our own author voice. Now, on our journey of discovering our own writing style, it's important to be aware of the most common traps that can very easily mute our author voice so that we can avoid them. Trap number 1 is to try to sound like someone else. It's great to learn from other writers, but we don't want to mimic them. The best voice is our own. So that's what we will want to identify and amplify and not copy someone else. Trap number 2 is to let critique override our instincts. This one is so important and near and dear to my heart because that's such a big roadblock for so many aspiring children's authors. Feedback is valuable, but not every suggestion will serve our voice. So trust your gut. I have a whole separate video on how to handle and use feedback so it becomes something that helps us grow instead of something that takes the winds out of our sail. So I made sure to share the link to it in the description below. And trap number 3 is expecting our voice to show up fully formed. The truth is our writing style and author voice takes time to develop. It's not something we perfect before we begin. It's something that reveals itself through the act of writing. The more we write, the more our voice starts to emerge, take shape, and grow stronger. It's easy to think we need to get it right from the start, but voice isn't about getting it perfect. It's about getting it honest. It's about allowing natural tone, rhythm, and perspective to come through, even before we feel 100% confident in it. So give it time, let it evolve. Trust that every story, every sentence, every scribbled idea is part of discovering and strengthening the writer you already are. Our author voice grows as we grow. It deepens as we write, and the more we write, the stronger it becomes. If you'd love support, not just in discovering your voice, but in shaping it into a fully formed children's story, I'd love to welcome you into my upcoming course, Story Writer Lab, a step-by-step writing journey designed specifically for the writing part for us children's authors, with your voice as the heartbeat of it all. I shared the link in the description below. Writing for children is one of the most beautiful things we can do, and your voice, the one that's uniquely yours, is at the very center of it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It really encourages me to keep making free videos for you just like this one. Keep writing and keep exploring. I'm cheering for you every step of the way. Bye!